afternoon and welcome to Have a Chat. I'm Audrey Lynch with my beautiful co-host Judy Loge, and joining us today we have a special fill-in, and this is Rachel Bernard. Hello, Rachel.
Hi.
So nice, and thank you for coming on to be a co-host.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a treat.
No, we like to have three. Three
Yeah,
seems
it's
to be a
nice.
nice even number for us to have the quick chat portion of our show and everything else like that. So thank you for joining us and filling in for Veronique today. You were a guest once before, and now you're going to be a co-host for us today.
It's interesting because Veronique once told me after we finished the interview, she said, "How was it?" I said, "I had so much fun. I'd like to come back." She says, "Maybe you can co-host sometime." So
Yeah, and
dreams
here
do
you
come
are.
true.
Here you are.
Yes, exactly.
Welcome,
So
Rachel.
Thank you.
we have a great show lined up for our guest today, and what we usually like to do is we like to start off with a quote, and since Rachel is joining us, we are going to get her to start us off with
right.
our quote of the day.
It's almost a personal touch for me when I saw this, and I really like it. It's, "I don't believe in age. I believe in energy. Don't let age dictate what you can and cannot do." And this comes from a lady called Tao Porchon Lynch, and she is a 97-year-old yoga teacher. And she looks amazing.
Still a yoga teacher.
Yes.
Just to repeat, 97-year-old
Yes.
yoga
No,
teacher.
exactly.
I
And the
wanna call
photograph
to the
that you
table.
have of her, she doesn't even look anywhere near
She
her
is
age.
beautiful.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's
So,
just it.
yeah.
I totally believe that it is energy that keeps us young.
It is.
It's energy, and you have to find your personal energy, but I think to get the energy that's ultimately required to be your best, you have to surround yourself with other energetic people. Am I right?
True. Very
True.
true.
Whether it's in a yoga class, whether
Yeah.
it's a dance group, whether it's
Yeah.
just going to the movie or dancing with other people.
Yeah.
You can
No.
be happy,
Oh, yeah.
but I think to get that ultimate energy, you...
And it doesn't have to be physical energy.
No. Mental, positive
Yes,
energy.
Definitely,
Exactly.
definitely. Because there's some mornings I find when I read that saying, it's like, that is so, so true. Because some mornings I wake up and I don't feel like I have any energy at all, and I feel twice my age because of it.
Yeah.
Right?
But you gave me
So-
a great story when we were talking about
Yes,
this
well, that's
earlier.
just it. Because when I looked at that lady for a second, I thought it was the one that I had seen on Facebook of a 70-year-old woman who was a physical fitness, and she had started at the age of 50 to be a fitness and into bodybuilding. And I myself had seen that when I was 50 and took on the journey to be a little more physically stronger and healthier. And by the time I was 51, I had signed up for my first physical,
So there you go.
yeah, bodybuilding type competition. So here I am.
You found that energy big time.
That's right. That's right. When you set little goals like that for yourself,
Yes.
it's amazing what you can accomplish, because I didn't think it was possible. If there was anybody out there who had tried 10 million different types of things to reach those kinds of goals, and I just never gave up. I just kept, even though it wasn't the very next day or the very next year, right? Kind
Baby
of thing.
steps.
But
No.
you know that they say that there are some things that can just totally help us become happy and energetic people. One is smiling.
Yes.
And they say that children smile 400 times a day, where adults smile 20 times a day on average.
Oh, you're kidding.
Is that not a huge
It
comparison?
is. It is.
Remarkable comparison.
Yes.
And dancing, they say singing. And like you said, no, but so we'll say this.
We're not.
We'll just
No,
smile.
you can sing in your head
I'll smile
and in your car.
400 times.
You can sing in your car. That works.
But what's funny too is my energy, and I'm very energetic anyway, but my mother.
Okay.
My mother is one of those people, and anybody that's ever met her say, like, does she ever stop? She always says, "Oh, I can't have a disease because it won't catch me."
I've
yeah.
often said that.
Yes.
There's no way that I would ever get sick because I don't
It
slow
has-
down long enough
Yeah.
to get it.
Well, me too. Our
No.
energy's boundless.
No.
It really is.
That's
Yeah.
just it.
Yeah.
So I know some people, they'll say to me, the biggest question I get is, how do you do it all? And I really can't answer it. I really don't have a definite answer to it.
Because
other
you
than,
probably don't check mark and go, today I'm going to do it. You just
No,
do it,
I
right?
just
We
do
have
it.
to do it.
Yeah.
We fall into it.
Exactly. Get her done. That's just it.
Famous saying.
So we're going to chit-chat a little bit here with our quick chat portion. There's a number of things that are going on in Miramichi that are coming up. We have the butterfly release programs coming up, so you're going to talk about that. I want to mention that prom season and graduation coming into June. There's only a couple of weeks left. And all those graduates out there, and just my thoughts and wishes with them for the absolute best, and for them to take care during this time. I know
For
it's
sure.
exciting, and there's lots going on and lots of parties and different things like that, and just for them to just enjoy
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah.
That goes for the parents
Right.
as well, because I was so stressed stressed out.
Were you?
Oh, when my boys were graduating, it was,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a perfectionist anyway.
Yes.
Type A personality, obviously.
Right.
So it was just, everything had to be like planned and everything, all
Yeah.
those parties that my kids were, the fellow
Attending.
graduates, I had to make sure I was able to go to all of those and have
Okay.
my own and just to be
That's a
able.
lot.
There's
It is.
so much that
No.
summer that I probably didn't enjoy as much as I could have.
As you could have,
So
exactly.
parents
That's just
have
it.
fun with it. They graduate
enjoy
once
it.
from high school,
Enjoy it.
and
Definitely.
it's a big moment.
For this is my third one graduating, so Reese. But unfortunately had a few little mishaps this past couple of weeks and required surgery on a broken finger. Luckily, he didn't require it on his nose, just some manipulation. He had fractured his nose as well. But a couple of weeks just before having to write exams, which he can't do.
Oh, wow.
And of course prom, and with his nose a little out of
pictures.
kilter. So we've got things straightened out. We've made arrangements at the school for him to be able to still get his exams done. He's doing well. He's doing remarkably well despite all of that. And as far as his spirit goes with it all, he's doing really good.
And
So
his
he's
grad
in-
pics are done. They're done.
Grad pics were done a while
yeah.
ago.
Is he,
We're
is
good.
he in
They're
the
in the mail.
cast? Is he in the cast
Yeah,
now?
he's in a fiberglass type cast.
For how long?
Well, we'll check this week when he goes for his checkup
Okay.
to see whether or not the doctor is going to. It's starting to take on a look and a scent of all its own. So
Oh,
I'm really
a
hoping
scent.
we get. Yes.
Oh.
Oh yes.
Hey, okay, let's
Yeah.
move on to the next
No.
topic. I'm not good with smells or anything like that.
That's just it. So we just want to wish all our graduates here in Miramichi well and congratulations and
Fun planning.
no, that's
Yes.
just it. So the butterfly release.
The butterfly release. Okay,
Exactly.
so folks, save the date. Sunday, July 21st, 11:30 to 1 p.m. Hospice Miramichi, 4th annual butterfly release, which is going to be held at 14 Howard Street, which is Chatham East. Remember a loved one with a beautiful butterfly. And enjoy a fun-filled afternoon with family. There's going to be a jumping castle and a barbecue and live music. Butterflies must be pre-ordered by June 20th. They are $20 a piece. And for more information, call 773-7607 extension 4 or go on the hospice Facebook page. So again, that's a beautiful day
It
to
is.
honor loved ones with the gorgeous release of these butterflies.
Yes, I've never been there when they've done
gonna
it and
say that.
experienced it, and I can only imagine.
Pretty and
I've never
beautiful.
seen
Yeah.
it either.
No.
It must be special.
Great cause too.
Yeah, it
Amazing
is.
cause for those that are, going to be going into palliative care one day.
Yeah, exactly. And also coming up this Saturday, we had a guest on last week, I believe, or the week before, talking about the Relay for Life that's coming up this Saturday. And the location of that has changed. It's no longer down at JMH track.
No.
They're having it right here in Newcastle,
Yes.
Miramichi, on the square.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Isn't that nice?
Queen
Yeah,
Elizabeth,
central,
the Queen
yes.
Elizabeth, park. So where they're doing it, so it's a lot more intimate.
It is.
Okay.
Or whatever, and that way all those who attend, they actually get to mingle amongst
I
each
love it.
other. With
Oh.
they're actually going to close the street off and put the different teams set up around the outside, and then be able to walk the park.
Beautiful.
And I myself and Ashley Doyle are going to be doing the hair cutting ceremony.
Thank you for doing
So
this.
I want to mention the big reason why I'm bringing this up is if you're interested or you know someone who is in donating their hair
Okay.
and having their hair cut, we're definitely still looking for a lot more donations.
So where
to
do
have
we-
that done? The Relay for Life Facebook page.
Okay.
Yep, you just have to contact them there, and they're really quick with responding back.
Good.
And so that we have, it's just such an important thing. You don't realize what an impact that has on a child or even an adult who has to go through that and lose all of their hair, right? It's
No,
quite
you're
an
right.
emotional time for them because I myself being in hairdressing, throughout my years, my 13 years, I've actually had clients come in and take their long, beautiful hair and we cut it. We give them a beautiful, short haircut, which I've done 1,000 times, but when it's a cancer patient, it's a different haircut.
Yeah.
It's a different
Very emotional.
experience altogether to cut your hair for that reason.
I know.
Kind of thing. So
We've had
definitely.
friends that
Yes.
have lost their hair walking the cancer journey, so we know exactly how they are
No, exactly.
going to
Yeah.
feel.
So don't forget, if you're thinking of it or know someone who is, contact Relay for Life.
That is good.
Yeah,
Well, that's
definitely.
Rachel, you got something coming up
Yeah.
here.
This, do you want me to talk
Sure,
about the
baby.
mental health? or-
Yes, so
Yes.
important.
Just because actually the month of May was Mental Health Month.
Right.
And so I'm continuing on the same wavelength, if you want. My daughter has suffered from, mental health issues in the last few years. And we found it difficult to find help, because when it happens, it's not something like a cold that you have and it gets worse and worse before it gets better. It just hits. So you go on the internet, you do the research. Tylenol's not going to work for your child, right? Things like that. So once we figured everything out, and it was a 2-year process as to how. Finding out how the brain works and the doctors that we spoke to were so good. They were so nice to us, and they sat down with us and gave us the right information. And now Allie, my daughter, is a great advocate, because she goes around and she will take the time and explain that to you. So it kind of just stayed with me, and I said, if we just took the time as people that have been through this to talk to other people like us, it would make, because when you talk to a doctor, it's overwhelming.
You're walking the walk, like you journeyed it, so you can actually say, this is what we figured out, this is how we dealt.
That's right. So now we have a foundation that we're starting, and it's called Two Things. We call it Two Things, and it's Allie and I going doing some talks around the province. To families that are going through the same thing. So we're not professionals, we are just giving our story and just letting people know, you know what, you're not the only ones that are going through this.
You can empathize.
Yes,
you
exactly.
Both can.
And they might find something similar in our story, so they won't feel alone.
Right.
And then after the talk, we have people that will be there in mental health to guide them if they have any questions.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
Allie for doing
Yeah.
It was a long journey.
Well, that would be a lot. That's like to experience it by itself, that alone, and to go through it. But to take it to this level and to talk about it out loud and share your story with others, and then hear. That's a huge.
And it might be a heavy subject, but there are funny moments in through the whole journey that we've been through, and it's not over, because once you're diagnosed with mental health issues, you live with it, but it's to find out how, and is there a happy ending? Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? And you actually do.
Wonderful.
2 years later, my daughter is much better. She's working, and she's like I said, a great advocate for. So we decided this is what we wanted to do, to just give back.
It's called Two Things.
Two Things.
I love it.
Two things,
I'm
exactly.
so proud.
Well, when I think of mental illness, and you're talking about, to me, just going through life experiences and stuff like that some people might think that mental illness is a specific, whether it's an actual schizophrenia has a name to it or anything else like that, right? But there's also and I don't want to use the word smaller, but the other kinds of mental illnesses that do come and go, like you experiencing
that we live with
daily. Anxiety because of different kinds of things, or there was a trauma that happened, you
PTSD,
experienced, postpartum, different things like that, and then you manage to get the help you need and get through it, and then that's no longer an issue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that there's a cure, but there is.
No, you can come out of
come out of it and no longer require it.
Exactly.
You become stronger mentally to be able to cope and handle everyday things. Yeah.
And it's little things that you need to do every day as someone that's been diagnosed. Your health is important, your sleep is important, and those are things that you don't think of when you're sick, because I can still see my daughter not eating, not getting out of bed because she just couldn't. So there goes her health, and there goes her, her well-being altogether. So, but it happens, and we needed to know how to deal with it. And at the time we didn't. It was very scary. I used to lift her up off the bed and say, "Do you want to get up?" And she'd say, "No, I don't." And I'm thinking, as a mom, am I supposed to force her to get up?
I know you would not.
I don't know.
No.
What's the best thing to do?
And you thought
do you
physical
force
illness as
them?
opposed
Do you
to
push
mental
them?
illness.
Google.
Yeah.
But that's not great. People get on the internet and they Google, and then like
You
my
do.
husband
You
always
have
says,
to be
don't
sure.
get on
That's
the
exactly
internet
what
and self-diagnose. He says, get off of that computer.
Yep.
No.
You have some little bite, you think it's a tick, you get on it, and all of a sudden you have a ticket, but you don't.
No, exactly. Well, there's reputable sites, and then there is not. So you know what I mean, kind of thing. You want to get that right information for sure.
But I won't get into it too much. So if ever we plan on being in Miramichi in August. We'll be doing a talk in August.
We'll
so
talk more about it
definitely.
himself, for sure.
we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly. What else did you want to mention that's coming up?
Well, what's coming up? So last week, the city of Miramichi had two, it was called the redevelopment downtowns for the Newcastle side and the Chatham side, and I assisted to both, and it was just what it's going to look like, hoping to look like in the next 20 years, which is very exciting. Fingers crossed it will happen. We had good feedback, a lot of people were there. And it's funny because this just happens to be around the same time that we are inviting a mayor from Bonavista, Newfoundland. And he
Okay.
is a young mayor in his 30s. He kind of reminds me a little bit of our own mayor.
Okay.
And same ideas, same views. And his name is John Norman, and he brought back the little town of Bonavista. It used to be a little fishing village. And I mean, Newfoundland and Labrador have had their share of tough times,
Yes.
right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So this little place was a little forgotten place, and he turned it around. And now millennials are moving back. Businesses are booming. The older buildings are now, they've been revived. So he goes around Canada and talks about this.
How to revive your
How
city.
to revive your city
Yeah.
or town or your
small
village or whatever.
community.
Yeah.
So he's coming on the 24th of June at the
Okay.
Vogue Theater.
Ooh.
And you can get tickets on Eventbrite. If you go on Eventbrite and you just put John Norman,
Okay.
it'll pop up. We also have a page on Facebook or an event on Facebook.
Right.
And we are so looking forward to having this young man talk. And our own mayor is going to sit down with him and have a chat also. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamics between the two mayors
It'll be
because they have
perfect.
so many things in common.
It affects all of us. So it's June 24th
June-
at 6:30 p.m. at the Vogue Theater.
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
get tickets at the Creative Grounds
You can
Cafe?
get, yes, you can. You
Right
can,
on the same street, like right across from the Vogue Theater.
For the ones that
Creative
don't want to
Grounds
buy tickets online, you can go directly to Creative Grounds and get tickets there.
on
Oh,
Wellington
that's
Street.
perfect. There's
Yes.
so much going on here in Miramichi.
There's always
Definitely.
something to do in Miramichi
Yes,
any
there
time
is,
of the day.
definitely. And plus, there's lots going on here at Have a Chat. We've got some great guests coming up after the break, so you're not going to want to miss it. We've got Colby Jardine and Erin Furlong joining us next from Iron House Productions. So don't go away. We'll be back with more Have a Chat after the break. Have a Chat. Joining us now are our first guests, Colby Jardine and Erin Furlong. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Welcome
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Welcome back, we should say. You were on once before, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming back.
It's been a while, right?
It's been a
Little
while.
bit.
It's been like a year and
A little,
a bit.
yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So
Been
yeah.
traveling. and-
Yeah, it's been all over the place. You were back to talk about the same thing we talked about before, about a nice big update. Tell us what you've been up to. Now, you guys are the owner and operators of Iron House Productions.
You got it, yeah.
And so you're going to touch base, though, and let us know a little bit about yourselves first and then what this is.
Sure. Well, since last time we chatted, I think there might have been just 4 of us. And now there's, if I'm counting correctly, about 11.
On
So,
Nice.
yeah, on staff,
Well, with
yeah.
contracts, we
Yeah.
have some contracts, and yeah.
But all very consistent, and yeah, things are going well. We've grown substantially, and what we do, to answer your question, is we produce very unique content consistently, and this content has a lot of purpose. So we create it with high-end equipment consistently, and we also do marketing plans, anything to do with marketing, really,
Right.
and
advertise.
advertising,
Right.
print, paper. We do absolutely everything, not just
Okay.
on the social media side.
And you both, like, together, put your heads together and came up with this company.
Yeah, we actually kind of met in a very organic way. I had coached rugby, but I had coached more particularly one position or some of the forwards and or some of the backs. He was a forward, and then we were both kicking around Miramichi, and he was well dressed in a coffee shop, and I was, I think, maybe somewhat dressed okay compared to him. And yeah, we had this idea. We had both seen a hole and an opportunity, and we thought, you know, let's try it out. And it's been a whirlwind. We've had just such a great outpouring of the community. First of all, we try to give back to the community. We've some great local accounts. Town Otter Group has been wonderful to us, and LJ Patterson Sales. We did some work with Audrey, and did some stuff with the firemen and anyone local. But we've been, you know, very fortunate. We've been able to branch out of Miramichi and you know, kind of spread our wings a little bit and do some more. So
How many years have you, as the Iron House, been?
Under 2.
yeah, we're going
Is it just
on our-
under 2?
Yeah, it is.
It feels like it's like
I know.
forever.
It does to
Yeah.
me as well.
It does.
Yeah, we're going on 2 years, and really it's, we started it, me and Colby, but it's way out of our hands now. There's just some great people that make our makeup, and they really just make us look good.
Content creators and writers and everybody that's involved. We don't know where they came from, how we found them, how they agreed to come on with us. It just shocks us every day. We're super grateful.
So each day is a different day, totally.
Yeah, so like a day, you know, today we're getting ready for the first of the month and next month. So our regular accounts, we're doing creative meetings. So you'll see us out at a coffee shop or out in the woods, and we all talk ideas and talk marketing.
Right.
That's the new. That's the new.
That's the new
room.
office.
Yeah,
You haven't heard?
Yeah.
But the bug spray's included, right?
Bug sprays included. So yeah, we try to really just lend ourselves to creative spaces. So, you know, we'll take a photographer, our written guys, we'll go out, we'll have a meeting on what it should be. Then we'll take that back to the client and say, what do you want to grow? Where do you want to go? And then we give it to whoever's great at what they do. So whether it's the video guy or the photographer, the graphic designer, the copywriter, they all do their thing. And me and Colby are just there to really help them
Put it all together.
Yeah.
And the biggest question is how do we disrupt somebody's day? How do we stop them from scrolling? How do we, on social media, right? Like, what can we put in your face that stops you? And
that's true.
that's kind of the battle that we face every
To
day.
be
But
creative,
it's fun.
to stop,
yeah.
put everything away and think.
Yeah.
And be an
And
innovator.
usually you want their attention for like about 30 seconds at least,
Yeah.
right?
And
30 seconds.
And I know it doesn't
Yeah.
sound like it's
No,
long,
but
but
yeah.
it can
And
be
even that's
very
getting
powerful.
long.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
30 seconds is getting long
Yeah.
these days.
Because isn't
Yes.
it, if it doesn't capture your attention in the first 8 seconds, or is it 5 seconds?
Yeah,
that you
you're-
scroll?
You're about
Yeah.
a 3 to 5 second window on some social platforms, and then it goes to different platforms. So different, you know, Instagram is definitely a younger generation. So
Yeah.
making sure that you're appealing to them, but not really selling them $200,000 items because
Right.
they don't have the money. So you know, there's some layers to it, and you know, we've kind of slowly worked our way into doing some web design, but mostly on the content side of things. We know what we're really great at, and we're always trying to improve what we're not great at. But yeah, sticking within our content creation has been really, really good to us. You know, we can create some dynamic content. We can employ a lot of people.
That normally wouldn't be able to get work in their field in this area.
So important.
Yeah.
That's such a key
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
so if there's any creatives out there that are stuck in a job they don't want to be in.
Yeah.
But,
we
but it's all local. You have local people, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
you-
mostly local, but we do have some people that work away. I was recently on a workcation with Colby. He spent some time.
Workcation.
Yes.
Yeah.
We like
Yeah.
that.
You have to
First
add
I've
that
heard
to
that.
That's for my
mine.
wife. Please relay Shirley that it was work.
Yeah.
Workation.
So important.
And yeah, just kind of fostering some relationships down there as well. But we tried to set up a model where the only people that need to physically be there are the video people.
Oh.
Or the photographers. They have to go on site to grab what they're doing. Otherwise, it's as long as you have internet, you can work. There's people.
Yeah, and sometimes
Anywhere around the
Africa.
world.
Yeah, anywhere around the
Sometimes
world.
Africa doesn't have great internet.
Yeah.
What an experience to be
Yeah.
there. You've been on and off to Africa now for about a year, haven't
For
you,
about a
Colby?
year, yeah.
A totally new world. I mean,
It's a new world.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible. a little dangerous, but it's incredible.
And you would fit right in though, and you're doing, like you're on a mission to do exactly what Erin just talked about, to get those people on board and to spread the word.
And it's taken a while to understand the cultural nuances, especially in the business world there.
That would
so,
be interesting to see.
it's interesting.
different-
That's one word.
Yeah,
It's tough.
a word.
Yeah.
It's a big word.
Yeah. For
That's
sure.
good. That's good though, because
That's
you get a
good.
chance to see what it's like, and you understand the people more than if you do have business, right?
Yes.
Connections from there. So that's
Absolutely,
good.
yeah.
What are
Wow.
your biggest hurdles right at this time?
And that's
It's-
exactly
it's-
what it is.
Were you?
Yeah,
Great
that was
minds
struggles.
think alike.
Struggles. I was
Struggles.
like,
Honestly,
there has to be. It wasn't all
Sure,
cake
no,
and icing.
it's not cake and icing all day. I think the biggest struggles are finding creatives that are empowered, so they understand their abilities without a lot of reinforcement. They know they're great,
Right.
So that's huge, and I think every day me and Colby share that. We each have our moments of, am I doing the right thing? And we have each other, and we try to create that environment for the team. Or maybe a better way to say it is the team creates that for all of us. So obviously finding great creatives is number one. The second is finding people that can live the work-life balance.
That's what I was gonna say.
So I was big into it. I did a lot of development, and I hated sitting in an office. So I started going on the beach and doing all of my development work. And my data bill went up, but my happiness went way up as well.
There you go.
And so trying to instill that in a lot of people of, I don't care about the middle. Some people we employ, they have kids, and they had a hard time getting a job from 9 to 5 because they're the soul givers of their moms, and it's being raised by strong women, and Colby as well. We were like, okay, well, how do we overcome this hurdle? It's not a lack of ability; it's a lack of time.
Yeah, and you need
Specific
discipline
time. Yeah.
to be able to go out and work on your own time. You have to be disciplined.
Very.
And it's because you could easily just
Yeah.
do
Follow the
whatever.
cracks.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right,
Exactly.
and we
You're
don't
gonna hang
care.
out at the beach. You could just easily
Hang out at the beach.
go swimming. You're hanging out at the beach.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
people can accomplish both, then you can work with us forever and enjoy it.
So you.
Sorry, go ahead, Rachel.
Well, you have 11 people working.
Yeah, so there's 11
Oh, yeah.
people
Including
right
us.
now, including us.
So I guess I'm thinking of a wheel and seeing where they all fit in. Like
Sure.
what type of people do you have working
So
for you?
we have videographers, photographers, graphic designers, copywriters, and that's about it. They all do their various tasks, but some of them have other jobs and they're fulfilling their creative passion because there's not enough work in their industry. Some of them are our photographer. He only has 10 hours in his week because he looks after his kids, his wife works, and he's made a decision. So basically, when we designed the company, it was like, how do we get that extremely talented person who only has 10 hours? We only want them to be a photographer. We don't want them to be a salesman. We don't want them to be a bookkeeper, an accountant. We want them to just, focus their mind on that great thing. So when we set up a system, we put it to the test really the first time Colby went to South Africa. Me and him didn't talk about it, but when he left, we both were kind of, okay, this is it. This is, because it was easy to skip over to Chatham if we had a problem, or drive to Moncton. When he went to the other side of the world, it was
We
like,
had to learn how to use the internet
and
properly.
properly.
I know,
Yeah.
you're young
Efficiently.
and creative, so if you can't do it, there's no hope for the rest of us.
Exactly. So that was the perfect testing ground for this to happen because we actually had to do it, and we learned about whatever different apps and different programs that we could be using, and if the internet dropped, how do we figure it out? We had to find the internet cafes, and so we could literally write a book right now on how to work from.
That could be your next
From
project.
anywhere.
Got free Wi-Fi.
Literally anywhere.
On the creative aspect, though, Cody spoke to the space you need, the mental growing space, the ambiance, if you want to call it, surrounding your creativity. Did you find that in another continent? I mean, it'd be such an escape from your general location that I would think it would lend.
Of course, and you see different styles of marketing in different countries.
Yes,
So
of course, it's a model.
I could rattle off 10 different things. The way that they distract people in other countries from their everyday life is totally different than over here.
There you go.
So
Right.
there's so many things that we could take back.
Learned a lot.
We went to China together earlier last year, and once again, completely different.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
the way
And,
they
different
market, the way
culture.
they advertise is totally
Yeah.
different.
And that was a big test for us because that was the first time both of us as co-founders were out. That was the strain on the team, and you know, like
That was
I-
left behind.
Yeah, and I knew everyone was awesome, but you know, when you're on the other side of the world, China has terrible internet, which
Oh.
we didn't anticipate.
Really?
Oh, that's a problem.
So
Big one.
we really were like, okay, another one of those moments of like, it has to
Yeah.
work. And now I think anybody that works with us knows we're almost 24 hours. When Colby's in South Africa,
Yeah.
he's on a 5-hour time zone different than us. So there's only like a 2 to 4 a.m. when you can't get a hold of any of us.
Okay.
So
Right.
being kind of virtual has allowed us to do that, and that's where the consistency can come in. You know, we can have the written team not just work on one account, but they're going to work on the written for every account,
Yeah.
and that's their pocket, that's their window, and then they couple that with marketing, and we try to make sure that everyone is siloed. But when it's time to create or it's time to market redirect, they all come together. And we kind of joke about those are very expensive meetings. So a tangent on something funny can cost us a few
A
bucks.
lot of money.
But everyone's great. Like nobody is, I think, dead weight, or if you will. Like everybody has their
Pitches
market, and we all pick up the ball for each other. Like I'm probably the first. I tend to get buried in things, and I have lots of people around me that are like, hey, you know, what about this and this? So
What's your future holding? What are you into now planning
Something
for?
super exciting.
Oh, right. Bring it on.
So we both have a passion for health and fitness and all that kind of stuff. He was coaching rugby, played sports all his life, and I have a background in nutrition. I've always been doing the weightlifting thing and
know.
different sports. And I had a previous nutraceutical company, and now we are launching a nutraceutical company, which is health supplements with Dr. Peter Ford out of Moncton, New Brunswick. So he's been a friend of mine for a while, and we have some very exciting things coming up on July 31st.
So is this outside Iron House, or
Yes.
you have taken on him as a client and you're going
No,
to
it's a
do
partnership.
right?
He's been a client
Okay.
for almost 2 years with us, and very
Right.
happy. And was the foot in the door.
Okay.
He is a compounding pharmacist who created some incredible nutraceuticals,
Awesome.
and we had this funnel of marketing and distribution. And Colby one day bridged the gap with Peter. He said, "Listen, I think we can help. What's it look like?"
Nice.
And
Yeah, he said he was telling me about this product, and I was listening to him, and I'm like, so there's nothing like that in the country, correct? And he said, no, there's not. It's at
Okay.
my place. That's it. And what it does is it stops this celiac issues. So
Okay.
if you're gluten intolerant, you're at a restaurant, you can take one of these digestive enzymes that has been concocted by him and another pharmacist out of Ottawa. And it's solving a lot of digestive issues for people. So that's obviously a big issue right now
huge, right?
everywhere
Yeah.
in the world.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
it seems like every second person's celiac.
Exactly.
Right?
So
Yep.
this will stop that immediately have to run to the washroom at a restaurant situation, if you, which I know a lot of people suffer from.
They do.
So when he explained the product to me, I said, well, how much do you sell? And he's like, well, X amount. And we're like, can you sell more? And he's like, yeah. Well, how much more?
Here we guys are
And-
just going.
Yeah, and he's like, a lot. I'm like, okay, well, let's chat.
Oh.
And then there's about 11 other products that are going to be coming shortly after
He's a
that.
compounding
Yes.
pharmacist, you call it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So he already holds the NPN, so the naturopathic numbers, so they can be
Okay.
distributed in Canada. And we've been able to pair our content creation marketing funnel. So we're not stepping out on our business in any way, shape, or form.
no.
In
No.
fact,
That's
we're
fine.
actually growing
Okay.
within that landscape. So
Because you have nothing else to do.
you're right, right.
No.
So it's still branding, it's still marketing, it's still
Yeah.
video production and content release. It's all within, but this is the first time that it's our own baby.
I
It's,
love
it's,
it.
you
That's
know,
exciting right now.
So yeah, and again, our prosperity, I hope to travel for many years to come in Colby, but remember, she will always be home for me and my
Nice.
wife, and Audrey knows my wife, she's not going anywhere. We just got a chicken, in fact, so it's,
No,
I
you
think
start
it's made
bringing
it more
farm
real.
animals into the
Yeah, she's
backyard,
not
you're
going
here for a
anywhere.
while.
She's not
Yeah.
going anywhere.
Some
But
people get dogs. But,
Yeah,
you know.
no, farm animals is a bigger commitment.
Right,
You're
so-
here for a while.
Absolutely.
so that's kind of like our hope is to
That's not your wife. No, she's just wondering if you're going to actually be moving or not.
take that off the hook.
I don't
We'll
know. We've
just
never
ignore
had that
it.
happen before.
It must be your wife.
We can pick it up again.
Oh my
No,
God.
that's okay.
Yeah. No,
Any
live
last
television.
questions,
Live
Rachel?
television.
No, any last questions for these
We
gentlemen?
did do that. We
Sorry,
picked
honey.
it up and hung it up. No, that's just
no,
it,
I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all positive, all good things, and
To reach you, people. To reach you.
to reach us. Our
You might have to
website
unplug it, I
is
think.
You can call us on the phone.
ironhousepro.com.
Ironhousepro.com.
Yeah.
And
So
you
that's going to be the actual for the supplements. Is
The
that what you're saying?
supplements will be nextlevelnaturals.com.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But can we find it through your, will there
You
be a
will be
link?
able
Yeah,
to.
there will be
okay.
a link. It'll be its own thing, and
Okay.
our hope is to stay as New Brunswick focused as we can. We really are indebted to the community. It's it's raised us,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey. It's raised us, and it's kind of shown us the ropes, and it's how me and Rochelle connected, and all of us have.
I guess
so.
we're going to take a little break.
Great
Okay.
information.
And,
Congratulations.
thank you guys for joining us so much. Sorry about the little interruption.
No,
We'll be back with more Have a Chat after the break.
Thank
Don't
you.
go away.
Thanks, guys.
And we're back with Have a Chat. Thanks for joining us and tuning in. Up next, we have our next guests, Lois Tozer, and we have Lauren Amos Sr. Hello.
Hello.
There. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So you're here to talk to us today about the Josie Foundation. But first, we want to let our guests know who you are exactly. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Lauren.
I'm retired from federal government. I
Okay.
started out as a kid in the Army and then ended up as a civil aviation safety inspector with Transport Canada.
Oh, wow.
And I retired in 97.
Yes.
and
2 years
I-
ago.
Yeah.
A few years ago. And I've worked as a volunteer in several organizations ever since. Enterprise Miramichi was president there for 6 years.
Oh,
When the
okay.
government closed that down, we formed an association for the Valley, of which I ran that for 7 years, and I retired again in December, so I've had 3 retirements, and now I'm working for Josie.
No, keeping a good man down.
No, exactly.
Right.
And Lois, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a construction lady. I have my own company. It was started by my late husband and I. And I have 4 children, and I have 12 grandchildren.
Oh, my lady.
And 4
Good for you.
great-grandchildren.
Oh, for goodness
Well, you
which
look
I
amazing.
love them all. Well, thank you.
You do.
And I am not retired, unfortunately, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to. And I'm also president of the Josie Foundation, which it's my passion. I'm on several boards, but the Josie Foundation is my passion.
Yes.
People might not even know what they should know, but if they don't know what the Josie Foundation is, so who would like to explain what that
Lois.
foundation is?
Okay. The Josie Foundation was started in 2010 by Jake Stewart, and it was in honor of his grandmother, Josie Sturgeon. And I came on board in 2011, and the Josie Foundation is to help families that are in need, like with a life-threatening illness and they're having economic hardship. So the foundation goes out and helps them. You can apply online at www.thejosiefoundation.ca, and then we review the applications, and if they qualify, this gentleman right here takes the assistance to the clients. Like, we don't ask anyone to have to go out of their way.
No.
He takes everything to them. And it's a very good feeling to know that the foundation is there to help people. And if I might say, Judy Loge and her husband Gerard have been very, very good to the foundation. At one time when I introduced her, I called them our very own Dr. Phil and Robin.
Oh, my.
And that's sort of what they are to us in this community and to the foundation. What would you like to say about the foundation?
I find it very interesting to be on the delivery end of things because not only is it very emotional,
Very.
it's also very satisfying. And when you go to the door and the lady of the house, if you're going to help her, big smile immediately, and then when you give them the assistance, then she tears and cries, big hug, and you go away feeling very emotional yourself.
I'm
but
like that right now.
I was going to say, I'm
Yeah.
emotional.
Yeah.
also
No,
very
it's just-
satisfied that you're able to help that person.
No, exactly. It just makes that stronger connection, and knowing that what the Josie Foundation is doing is really, really
Exactly.
touching.
And if it's
the
a man,
family.
he'll grab your hand and almost break your fingers off.
You'll feel it.
You'll feel it.
Yeah,
But I mean,
exactly.
like,
But,
we're living in not a huge city. We're actually living in a small city. And each one of us, Rachel, Audrey, and I, and yourselves, know dozens of people suffering with some type of life-threatening illness. And in fact,
Absolutely.
it breaks my heart right now that a few of my friends are.
Yeah.
And I told them that's where you reach out, you apply, you get assistance. If you can't go to work because you're not able and your wife has to stay home to look after you, or vice versa, children to raise.
But it's a
mouths
very
to
humbling.
feed.
It's a very humbling thing to do that. I can just imagine that first instinct is not to want to ask for
Oh,
help.
I know.
Right? Kind of thing. And that, that's what this is for specifically.
That's
and
right.
that not to feel ashamed to
The
ask for
pride
help.
is there, but
No,
break that
exactly.
pride because everyone
No,
can use help when they're not
no.
able to be
In
employed.
a small community like this, I was at a benefit this past weekend, which was only supposed to be for from 2 to 9, and I was running late, and I was, by the time I got there, it was 5 to 9. The place was packed. You couldn't get in. It was overflowing outside.
But that's your machine.
People
That's
care.
just
Always
it.
like
That's
that.
want to
just
right.
help. We're a helping
Exactly.
community.
And
Yes.
the Josie Foundation is that kind of organization as well.
And many
That's
of these
right.
people that you go to help, their initial reaction, they look at you as if they're kind of head down thinking,
Yeah, exactly.
you
They don't
must
want
think there's something wrong with me that I need this help sort of thing,
yeah, exactly.
And of course that's not the case.
No.
No,
And-
not at all.
You have to really be forward and smiling and chatting with them to make sure they realize that you're not.
So you have to be open.
You gotta
and
be
then,
open,
and then
that's
they'll
right,
feel
yeah.
that
That's
from
right.
it.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. These foundations don't run on their own. How do you get the funds to do this? How do you get the funds to be able to share that with these families?
We have great people, as you know. The Miramichi is a very giving and loving community, and we have once a year we have our dinner, the annual Josie Foundation dinner, which is coming up on Friday night.
Yes.
And this beautiful
that's a
lady
big
will be
fundraiser.
mistress of ceremony again. And the Rotarians of Chatham have reached out to us. We actually have 2 schools that fundraise, and I think that's amazing because you get students that are learning at an early age that it feels good to help people.
back.
That's just so
Exactly.
wonderful. And we have schools, we have a lot of donations, just personal donations from people. We have Petro-Canada is very good to us every year. They give us gas cards to help out. We have a lot
Funeral
of
homes, Lois, can you not put,
in funeral
condolences
homes.
in the form of
Yes,
money
we
towards
do
the
that.
Josie Foundation?
Oh, okay.
And we do have people that just reach out and know about the foundation,
Okay.
that know that maybe someone they were connected with had gotten help. And they'll reach out. Like we had one lady one time, and she was a senior on a pension, and she had contacted me, and she said, "Dear, I don't have a lot of money," but she said, "I'd like to give you $25."
Everything
That meant
else.
so
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
because she really
$25.
wanted to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they
Put
could've
milk
done
and
it
bread
right.
in the fridge. It can do. It can get you gas from one place
That's
to another.
right.
Every dollar
$25.
counts.
That's
It
right.
does. And I've had people come up to me personally and say, with tears in their eyes, that the Josie Foundation helped them so much when their wife was even in the dying stages, but they didn't have any money coming in.
That's right.
And he said, what? That tided us over. We were emotional, so emotional that we were just beyond ourselves. But that gave us that peace of mind monetarily that we had some things that we could fall back on for groceries, for travel, for chemotherapy.
That's right.
I don't think
it just
people
made me
realize
cry.
how huge of an impact it is, because the person who is sick obviously cannot work. then the other income earner, if there is one, now has to take time off work to
That's
help
right.
care for
That's
and get
right,
them to
exactly,
their
yeah.
appointments. So now there's no money coming in.
We see that
Kind of
often.
thing. And that's huge, you know what I
It
mean?
is.
When the mortgage payment still comes out and, you know, all
And
those
we're
different
talking
kinds of
adults.
things.
There are children too.
Well, that,
right?
exactly.
I mean,
that's
like,
just
I
it.
how can two
know.
parents go to work when their child is, you know, in the hospital
No.
and not well, and
Yeah.
so to have something like that, that's amazing.
Might even
You
seem
guys are
trivial, but you
amazing.
you have pets to look after too. Can I just say that
That's
they're
right.
expensive to look
Oh,
after?
yeah,
If you
that's
have dogs,
right.
you're not going to kick your dogs out, two big dogs, and start. Oh, I can't feed my dogs now.
No.
It just all the little things that you have
And
to
that's
worry
part
about.
of the reason why we give grocery cards and gas
Yeah.
cards,
Yes.
so that they can use the grocery cards, they can feed themselves, feed their pets or
No,
whatever,
exactly.
and the gas to get back and forth for their
You
treatment.
need that.
Yeah.
And it works well that way.
No, it just takes the pressure off, right? It just
That's
eases
right.
things a little bit.
And there's several families per year that we help that there's little children that have illness.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
And that's such a good thing for the parents when we're able to step in and help them.
Yeah.
And lots of times we have people in the community, for instance, that will contact us because, you know, like as a parent, you're proud and you don't want to ask for assistance. So we suggest to them, well, why don't you go online, get their permission, and they fill out the application for
Right.
them, which is really, really good, you know, for the parents.
And one other really sad part of it is in the last year, from the people that I've delivered cards to, is around 100, 9 of them passed away within a week to 10 days after I was there.
Oh,
Really?
And that is
Very hard on you.
hard.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah. Oh,
It-
yeah.
it- you get an emotional attachment, especially like if it's a client that we help like twice a year. Sometimes we will review it and help them 3 times a year if
Oh,
there's a lot
really?
of struggling. And when someone passes away, that like it's part of your family
For-
that's gone because like you feel their pain and their stress. So when they pass away, that's really hard on us, like as
It
as a
is,
group.
indeed.
Sure, and we might just add that you're all volunteers. You
That's
are a
right.
non-profit organization.
That's right.
And to get volunteers to do this is, I commend you because Audrey and I and Rachel volunteer, and we know what goes into that. It's a heart and soul type of thing that you,
It
you
is.
get your feet
Yeah.
wet and get into.
No,
We have
that's just it. Time is a commitment, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whether it's 1 hour or 10 hours, it's still a commitment.
And that's an
You know what I
emotional commitment to,
It is.
to
right.
top
It's
it
very
off.
No,
emotional.
exactly.
It's
Some
not
people
like-
have a hard time being around
Yes.
those kinds of situations, but it's a reality of life. You know what I
This
mean?
Friday night, again, I'm honored to be the MC, and I encourage people to come out to the Josie Foundation dinner to support this cause because really it can affect anybody or everybody, like in a
That's
family. So
You'll
we
never
don't know
know.
when it's
No.
going to strike
No.
a family.
And it's not just a dinner now. You have a speaker. If you want to talk a little bit about the dinner itself.
Yeah.
The dinner itself this year is being catered by Collins Catering, and we have a choice of salmon or chicken, and the dessert is strawberry shortcake, and we start with a mandarin salad, and he's
Beautiful meal.
really does
Yes.
a phenomenal job. Then we have this year Stephen Summers is going to be our guest speaker,
Okay.
and he has his daughter that is in remission with cancer. His wife passed away with cancer, so he's raising his 2 daughters. He lives in Halifax now.
Okay.
So he's going to be our guest speaker. So I think it'll be a
Powerful.
quite powerful
Powerful.
evening to hear him speak. And I believe they're going to do a couple of songs too.
Oh my
for
gosh,
us
okay, I'm going to
tonight.
brace myself to hold myself together
I
because
know.
I do
Yeah.
have to be strong up there at the microphone. I'm a very emotional person, but you're doing nobody a favor by being a ball baby up
No.
there because
No.
they need your strength. They draw on your strength.
That's
You
right.
do, exactly.
Yeah, but the dinner is always a big success, but you have to get tickets soon.
Yes, because there's only room for so many.
Well,
That's
yes, and
right,
you get
the
your order in
tickets.
for food, and tickets are at Town Hill Jewelry,
That's correct.
or by calling yourself Lois, and your phone number is 622-7647. No,
It's 836.
okay. You give
That's
the
somebody's phone number.
Give that number again. So Lois to
It's
it.
836-7647.
Yeah, or Town Hill Jewelry
Town
on the
Hill
square in
Jewelry.
Newcastle has tickets available.
And there's very limited tickets left. So.
Oh, is there?
And we
it's-
also
it's-
do a Chinese auction thing at
That's
that.
fun.
They
time.
do.
Oh,
Yes,
I love that.
exactly.
People are very interested in
To
all
see
the
what's-
gifts that are spread out up there, and
No,
they put
that's
their
just
tickets
it.
in.
What was the location? Where's the dinner?
It's
being
at the
held?
Kin Center.
Center.
It's
It is.
always at the Kin
It's
Center.
always at the Kin Center.
On the
Okay.
square in Newcastle,
Right.
100 Boulevard,
Yep.
right? Newcastle Boulevard.
And we have some beautiful prizes this year. And we do have a live auction on a couple of items. River City Fitness, I believe, has given a year.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
1 year membership.
Yeah.
And we also have a barbecue that was donated.
Beautiful.
Oh, nice.
And don't be afraid, right, to have to dress right up
No,
because you
that's
don't.
right.
People are,
No.
I don't know what I don't know what I'm
No.
going to wear. A
No,
nice,
no, it's
something
not.
like
No,
this.
it's
Rachel
not.
is
No.
on, or I'm on, or Audrey's on.
Yeah.
Shay is fine.
It's
No.
fine,
Or
and we
a
love
nice
you to
top.
feel comfortable when you come because
Exactly.
we want you to be happy and dress as you want.
It's a
Exactly.
fun
That's
evening,
just
not
it.
a who's
No,
dressed the
that's
best.
right.
We want to show off
Can you
this.
talk about
I know,
this?
we want to
This is
show off this
beautiful.
painting.
Okay.
We keep pointing to it, but nobody else can
Okay.
probably
Trying
really
to get
see
it up
it.
here.
So now who painted this?
This painting was done by my granddaughter-in-law to be, Josie Dupre. And this here, like, she came to my house one cold winter evening, and I was trying to explain to her, like, the concept that we wanted. And she's a very talented artist. And so she sat there and she said, keep talking, Nan. So I kept talking, and I told her, you know, like, the rose is actually Josie's favorite flower, and that rose. And as I said, it was named after Josie Sturgeon.
Yes.
So I told her, I said, we give, and the people receive, and there's gratitude there. So just do something. And she just kept sketching, and all of a
Love
sudden
it.
she shoved that over. She said, how about this? And I said, that is perfect. So the teardrop, it symbolizes the gratitude. The hand is both giving and receiving.
Just
So
simply
it's
beautiful.
It is.
beautiful.
It is
Absolutely
beautiful.
lovely.
And where does this sit when it's not here with us?
Right now, we're looking for suggestions where we would like to have this
Display it.
picture be displayed. If anyone has any suggestions.
My suggestion is the Kin Center until time changes for
Right,
location.
I already
was
said that.
Full celebration.
Yes.
So we are going to ask their permission if we could put it there, because we're there every year, and then it's such a beautiful.
They have a lot of functions there, and
They
there'll be
do.
a lot of people that see
Would
it.
Mail
see
is
and
again.
have questions, and if they don't know about it,
Yeah,
you know, they
what's
will
this,
ask
you
about
know?
it.
That's
Exactly.
right. That's
No,
right.
Exactly.
And we could even put some handouts there with
Yes.
it. if-
Yes,
No,
we,
little
we could do
information
that.
cards,
Yes, we
things
do
like
have
that.
information cards,
Yeah.
so
That
we
would be
could put that
perfect.
with them. But
No.
but that was kind of our hope to put it someplace where, and for the artist too, like the beautiful young lady that
No.
done it. She's,
Her name again
it's
is
Essie Dupre,
Essie Dupre.
and she's now the branch manager here at BMO in town.
Lovely girl.
Yes, she's a beautiful girl, and I'm so fortunate that she's going to marry my
You can see
grandson.
that.
Oh, yes, I know, exactly.
She's
That's
so
just it.
beautiful.
So the Josie Foundation has a Facebook page. We're about to wrap up our show today, so
Mm-hmm.
we want to make sure that people do know where to find you and get some more information. So there's a Facebook page for the Josie Foundation,
There
correct?
There is, yeah.
And they can message there as well to get any information that
Yes,
they
they
need.
can.
Your
Yeah.
phone number's probably there as
836.
Yeah,
7647.
7647. Yeah, exactly. And if they need to contact you any other way, is there any other avenue?
The website has the
Oh, the web-
application
It
forms
has-
for
okay.
Yes.
assistance, and all the
Yes.
information about
Perfect.
the organization are there on Facebook.
Somebody
Exactly.
asked me
On the
this
website.
morning for that application. I said, go right to the website, download
That's
it,
correct.
get it right into the Josie
Exactly.
Foundation.
That's just it. So
You
I'm
don't
sure
even
you
have to
get many.
download it, you can fill it
And
out
email
right
it,
on the
You just
site.
fill it out and
Right
it goes
online.
right to us.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Excellent.
It
Right
goes to
away.
somebody, and that somebody sends it to me.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us
Thank you.
today,
Thank you
Lois
for
and
having us.
Lauren.
Thank you very much for having me.
See you Friday night.
Definitely.
All right, all right. We
And
will.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much to all our viewers for watching today. Have a great day. And from all of us here at Have a Chat. See you next week.